So I love how the fact that um, a lot of people just don't like what I say, or they don't want to listen to what I say, and that's totally fine. That is absolutely fine. But you know what? All of the stuff that I say is actually the truth in terms of what actually happens, and it takes an awful lot of time and effort to do good stuff. But a lot of people just don't want to hear it, and that is okay. So I want to talk about that. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massack. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor for to help you out as much as I possibly can. So one of the things that I say is that it takes an awful lot of work to do good things. It takes an awful lot of time. It takes an awful lot of thinking and working through things, but most people don't want to think like that. The sort of way that we're programmed and think about, especially in the culture that we have today, is that there's some sort of quick win. There's some way to get around it. And I'm going to tell you in the long run, nobody cares about that. Everybody sort of sees through the quick win. Everybody knows that there's this hacky stuff that happens. And in the short term, it does pay off, right? That is the tricky thing. In the short term, it always pays off, right? That's why people get sort of enticed to do that, where you get this sort of quick jump on something. But in the long run, it never pays off. Hands down, never pays off. Nobody gives a crap about those people that do hacky things and looks for the shortcuts and all of that kind of stuff. Nobody cares about those people. What people care about are the ones that have some amazing insight, or they've done something that they didn't think was humanly possible. But here's the thing: the reason why people think that it's not humanly possible is that they actually put in the work over and over and over again, and that there was a period of time, probably a very long period of time, that that they were getting no recognition, nobody cared about them, that they were a nobody, all of those things. And they put in the time and effort to get to the moment of, hey, like people actually pay attention to this particular thing. It's almost inevitable. That story is the same thing for everybody. Nobody cared about them, nobody understood what they were about. They went through a very long period of being a pariah. They went through, people discounted them, all of those things. It is really unusual, unless that you were given some opportunities early at the get-go that people recognized you for who you are and what you're about. Almost always. Like that is the case. And you could definitely see those people that from the get-go, they do have those opportunities, whether that, in say maybe it's in academia, right? I'm thinking about academia right now. They were given a special opportunity right at the get-go. Maybe they got into, maybe they got into Harvard Business School, and that was an opportunity that they got access to that they wouldn't have gotten access to early on. Maybe it was, um, maybe their parents, for example, were somehow some sort of famous parents and gave them some opportunities to become an actor or an actress, right? Like there are those cases that does happen, but for the majority of people, that does not happen. The majority of people, it's just grinding it out. It's the slow grind. It's the slow and steady. And so we get messed up and we see, well, that person got there so much quicker and it was so easy for them. Guess what? They had opportunities that you did not see, that it was very difficult to do. And so what we tend to do as human beings, we generalize from that one person that had those opportunities given to them, and we think, oh yeah, you know what, this is going to be so easy and I should just copy what they're doing. And every time, every single stinking time, if you do that, you're going to get messed up and it's not going to work out for you. And you're going to think like it's going to be all these quick and easy gamey things. And then by the time you realize it, that it is not these quick and easy gamey things, it is too far gone. And then you're into your 50s and 60s, and you're thinking, man, you know what? I wish I would have put in that time and effort up in the at the get-go, and I wish I would have done all of those things that Professor Maslach or somebody else, right? If it's not me, it's somebody else is telling you, don't do that stuff. Put in the hard work, put in the time, put in the effort, do that repeatedly, and then it does pay off. You will be in a moment in time where you're a pariah, nobody cares about you. Um, and it might be a decade, it might even be 2 decades, but that is okay. You have to realize that that is part of the journey. You put in the time and effort to get there. And guess what? It might be 2 decades and you never get there. That is okay as well, right? Like that is totally fine that you get there. It is part of the journey. And what you have to realize, yes, okay, so let's say you want to become like Mariah Carey, right? Like everybody knows who Mariah Carey is, right? Everybody is well understood. Well, as a normal human being, it's unlikely that you're going to be getting to Mariah Carey sort of status. Everybody knows who you are. But what you could do if you look back and you said, my goal is to become Mariah Carey and get as well known as that. Well, crap. If you did something and you worked at it and you worked at it and you worked at it and your goal was to become Mariah Carey, man, you know what? You're going to get well known regardless. And maybe you're not at the same status as Mariah Carey. Who cares? By the time you've done this for 20 years, you are going to be pretty well known, and a lot of people are going to know who you are, and you're going to have this sort of small group of groupies that people are going to understand what you're about. So my thing is, or my goal here is to tell you that don't get persuaded by all of the quick wins and the hacky stuff and all of that stuff. Put in the time and effort and work at it. It's going to be hard, and that's inevitably it's going to be hard. But for you personally, you will have done a lot of stuff, and it will have paid off in the long run. You might not become Mariah Carey, but you know what? You will actually do very well for yourself if you do this time and time again. Don't get persuaded by all the hacky stuff. It comes after you, it bites you in the butt. Inevitably, it always does. Put in the time, put in the effort, keep doing it day in and day out. Don't get persuaded by all of the hacky people that are out there telling you that it's so easy and you just have to do these 5 easy steps and you just have to do this and that and thing. That's BS at the end of the day. It always is BS. Don't get persuaded by those folks. They're telling you garbage. You're going to want to believe it, and you're going to believe it. I know you are, but they're telling you garbage. It never works out like that. It is putting in the time and effort day in and day out, over and over and over again. And don't get persuaded by all of the hacks that are out there telling you. And there's a lot of hacks that are telling you this garbage. And those hacks can be very, very persuasive. And they come in all sorts of forms and shapes. And they might be somebody that's famous telling you this kind of stuff, right? It might be somebody, but for you personally, it's going to be hacky, and it's not going to get you to the place where you need to go. You need to put in the time and effort, the grinding, the slow grind where nobody pays attention to you over and over again. You got this. I know you can. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day.